Hey yo, this is gonna be Hunter x Hunter chapter 389, Curse. So last episode there was a lot of text, and this don't look no different, man. So I'm gonna look forward to reading all of this. So let's go into it. At the time Shikaku committed suicide, I was in the 7th Prince's sleeping chamber. There were 5 people there apart from myself. 7th Prince Lazarus himself, Barate from his private guard, Rijin Basha from the Hunter Association, and 2 second Queen soldier, Famul, for a total of 6 people. Lazarus was smoking legal drugs while watching a movie as usual, until the gunshot sounded out. We were more concerned about the rumbling, so our attention was not focused on Shikaku in the entryway. The second Queen soldier went to check on his window when Shikaku shouted out, "Loveling, first King Benjamin," pressed the muzzle of the gun to the temple of his head. Judging from the action, the rumbling ended at nearly the same time as sound the gunshot. We can determine there is a clear connection between someone's ability in 9th Prince's Hackenberg camp and Shikaku's wonders. Suicide. So looking back at this situation, we knew he killed himself reluctantly, and the idea he was forced to commit suicide as a condition for some kind of bargain that was struck is very likely, and that you're saying for in exchange for the proverbial gun that was pointed at my head to be lowered, he chose death himself. If we assume that rumbling was caused by an image of that kind of destructive power, that would be capable of presumably someone the likes of a fireball of 5 meters in the diameter, surpassing the speed of sound. Any non-Nen user would be dead on the spot. Kanjidul, for most part, I do agree with your assignment of the enemy's attack, but I have 3 problems with your theory. He was forced into suicide as a result of a bargain. 3. Would you please tell me what they are? The first, assuming that Shikaku had already come to the conclusion that the rumbling was caused by the emitter preparing his attack. Would they really think that Prince Hackenberg was truly ready to make an attack? We are in the P area at the heart of the confinement surveillance center. Prince Hackenberg could have discovered this by the way of his assassination giving word for the Queen, but if he knew our position, then he would to attack here, he would have to blast straight through some of the lower prince's quarters that were in the way, both forcing someone to commit suicide and letting lower princes get caught in the attack greatly to go against the 9th prince's profile. Even assume we had the sudden change, what the stupid part, to participate in the succession war. This is a massive change. This suddenly is far too unnatural. The second, why suicide? If we're going to force Shikaku to do something, wouldn't ordering him to assassinate one of the other princes be more beneficial? You have a point. And third, can fellow princes actually kill one another in the first place? Excuse me. It is both my and first Prince Benjamin's opinion that our Nen beasts could kill one another, or if our Nen beasts could kill other princes, then the whole ordeal would be resolved quickly. But if either of those are possible, there's no way that Sir Benjamin's Nen beast, who has inherited his own personality and traits, would not have acted on it by now. Which means the Nen beast cannot kill one another, and the Nen beast cannot directly kill another prince. We can assume there is a rule built into their very nature, and furthermore, all princes have acknowledged that the absolute law of killing another member of royalty is a capital crime will apply to them as well. So for a prince, the killing of another prince being extremely taboo is embedded deeply in their mind. So it would be only natural that all princes and Nen beasts could also function the restraint lodged into their consciousness. We know that before boarding the ship, 9th Prince Hackenberg was unable to use Nen, which means that if that rumbling was caused by his Nen beast and it is targeting the first prince, it would be breaking its core rule. Even for the example, the prince's ability was somehow awakened for the aid of his Nen beast. There is no way a beast would enable the use of an ability that could let a prince directly kill another prince. Oh, so they can't kill each other directly. That's pretty interesting as well. Well, I haven't really thought that far through. So then was Shikaku being controlled after all? But to be honest, that makes sense that they can't kill each other directly, the Nen beast, or else they would have just got the Nen beast to go kill him. Even if you were that doesn't explain why he specifically committed suicide. Besides, Shikaku himself was a manipulator. He would have been able to take countermeasures against a manipulator opponent. In a battle of manipulators, the first to strike wins. When an assassin activates his ability, he would first target himself. This would defend against any opponent's manipulator checks. I had no idea about that. It's one of the most core concepts for manipulators, and there's a lot of people that didn't know about it. You're dropping facts, man. Lithan might not have known about this either. If so, then I have to give up on the idea that placing him on the 9th Prince Hakenberg's guard. But if all that's true, why did Shikaku commit suicide? The key to that may lie with one other doubt I have. Wait, why did he die in front of room 1007? His mission should have been on to required utmost discretion and attention and to detail and secrecy. Remember the conditions at the time with much detail as much possible, and could keep an extremely close eye on the actions surrounding room 1007 as we will search for the answer to why. Damn. I don't even know what day it is, man. It's been a week, but it feels like it's been years, man. This 9th day, this week has been years, man, for real. Forthrumbling, the interval between them is going shorter. Victor, what is going on? I heard something click twice. Is there emergency? They're fighting. While first Prince Benjamin still has on radio. They're fighting. Your Highness is no use. Prince Hakenberg, swish swish, invincible, rumble. Attacks have no effects, swish swish. Gah, oh my goodness. Victor's tackle shield is both an offensive and defensive ability, even if he were unable to completely overpower Prince Hakenberg. I believe he'd be more than capable of holding his ground while keeping the enemy's movements and actions in check. It seems that Prince Hakenberg is more suited to combat than we expected. On top of that, he now completes preparations for his attack. It's likely to carry out enough force that it would be impossible to defend against. Damn, man. Prince Hakenberg, yo, he's turning OP already, man. This guy has too much potential, bro. He just took out a guard. So even if we know it's coming, we can't defend against it, avoid, or even fight back. This is far beyond the class of ability that an individual will be able to master in such amount of time. We should look at it as a bow formed by the entirely his private guard. Exactly as you say, his force and his efficiency are beyond anything we imagine, and his resolve firm and fierce enough to give a life for each and every shot. Shikaku has died, but Vito is still alive. Oh yes, his ability, you can see he was alive or not, and it wasn't enough just for a simple amateur attack. There's such a mystery, and I need some kind of lead, but I can't afford to waste time on any more pieces like this. Should I have Musia's owl, which is currently attached to Second Prince Camilla, attached to the private guard instead and search there? That doesn't sound like a good idea. We know even less about the Second Prince Camilla's ability than we do Hakenberg's. Prince Camilla's ability killed Musil instantly. That alone makes it a viable threat when to keep her under surveillance. Besides, if we were able to see the enemy's attacking time, I still have a great doubts that we'll be able to determine what exactly their abilities. But clearly we're in a state of emergency regarding Prince Hakenberg. Do you have some kind of plan? So man, these two prince, man, the top tier prince, you know, they see Hakenberg as a big threat. That's pretty crazy, man. Please leave it to me. Due to the serial killings currently occurring across the lower decks, I have a non-local troop be shuffled and redeployed as a countermeasure. Oh, this is about... I don't know who this is, but I feel like he's supper. Furthermore, my private guard has continued to observe strange behavior surrounding Prince Hakenberg's camp and have sufficient evidence and viable motive to suspect him of premeditated murder. With the personnel chain cut off, he split up the remaining troops giving them order exactly. If the enemy's ability is too powerful, then the best strategy is not to allow him to use it. Damn. National Navy Regulation Board. Who are these guys? So are these like the judges of the royal family, I'm guessing. 9th Prince Hakenberg has been restrained and confined. He's been isolated from his private guard and will be forbidden contact with them until the trial is over. But with Vico's current safety and whereabouts unknown, it's extremely likely that he'll end up getting acquitted due to the efficient evidence and released under surveillance, just like what happened with Second Prince Camilla. The first trial will be the battle's fault. Yeah, this may be once in a lifetime chance to get him out the way for good. The Tatian Cannon. Time to swap shift, Giuliano, UK. You still reading that when you finished it already? Yeah, what's that small thing, man? Hovering of it. It's got so many funny song lyrics in it. Once I start reading it, I can't stop. A song is the best way to convey a message. Once it's in your head, it'll stay there. Play along with the melody. Although this does have a propaganda-like point, it makes sense, and more importantly, the concept for each chapter, along with the song selection, so carefully done. It's really interesting. I feel like I'm kind of underestimated. I'm kind of underestimated Sixth Prince Tathion. I need to reflect on that. The final chapter was what a wonderful world. It really guided me. Suddenly, I found myself wanting to take Prince Tathion king, but in order to do that, the other prince would have to be this would be completely contrary to the Prince Triathlon's idea. While I considered that, I realized that the teachings may be Prince's last will and testament. As an excess of empathy is dangerous, Julia. I know that you should read this too easy. Do you have a life that has been saved by oversensitive love? Don't come at me with those song quotes. Man, I don't know what's going on. Who are these guys? It's just, the pacing is so slow. I just don't know who these guys are, but I have a slight idea. As a member of the Hunters Association, our mission is to protect the princes until we reach the supposed new continent. As far as you're concerned, that's what the real problem starts are. Well, I suppose you can say that. I can imagine that kind of tragedy will play out afterwards, but with our contract over at the point, we just say good working with you and leave just like that. I'm not very confident about that myself. Alright, see you later. See the Hunters then. Surprise, happy birthday, Julia. But my birthday still isn't for a long time. I know, that's why it's a surprise. After all, this is the day 2 months from now. We already said that our farewells. So lucky you get to eat your cake. I'm so glad we met. Oh, who's this ugly thing, man? Is that the prince? Why are you crying, Julian? Come on, smile. Long limb, Prince Benjamin. Bang. Apart from that, nothing really has happened. But here at the room 1007, I still haven't the faintest clue. Was there anything out of the ordinary immediately following the gunshot? Not practically. After all, it wasn't like anyone has gotten shot, and it happened outside the room. So waste of time asking. I'm honest, guys, so I'll tell you straight up. We're not telling you nothing. As I thought, nobody's gonna go out their way to offer their information, and no guarantee that the information they do have is worth offering in the first place. Oh, if you go, big dialogues. Oh my goodness. If there was something meaningful behind Shikaku's killing himself in front of the room 1007, the only thing I can think of is the diversionary plan to get everyone from inside focused on what's happening outside the room and fulfill the objective within the opening. In this situation, the most likely thing would be a plan through second Queen Duzul's officer. Prince Hackenberg uses Queen Duzul's officer in the room 1007 to do something during the ensuing commotion and the chaos of the suicide. But what was it? If they were going through this much effort for such large scale, it would have been worth it unless the objective was assassinating 7th Prince Lazarus, right? Is that Prince Hackenberg? I thought it was the long-haired dude. Who's that dude, man? Is this Prince Hackenberg? Oh, I was thinking about the guy with we saw in the last chapter who can see in the future. Who's that guy? We'll find out soon anyway. At the time, not counting Saturday, there were 5 Queen's Dazul's family guards in the room 1007. Immediately following the gunshot, Famul was in my field of view. Haptican were on the guard duty in the living room. Odessi and Gardo were sleeping in the break room. If someone were to try to do something, it would be those two in the break room. In the break room, private guard Mokke and Colt from the Hunter Association were also sleeping. Perhaps Odessi and Gappo took advantage of commotion and did one of the two things. I have concluded that all 6 of the Queen's Dazul's officers in room 1007 were not non-users, but I can't conclude to the same degree that Furov can. With a certain amount of skill, it would be possible to be a non-user and fool me. If that's so... So if that was so, I would question the 4 people that were sleeping. They might find that I've realized that possibility. Keeping a close eye on them or watching over everyone else is probably the best. If my theory is right, then it's possible Mackay might have been manipulated into assassinating Prince Lazarus, which is perfectly fine for us as we have no reason to interfere. Mackay is assigned to guard Prince Lazarus this afternoon. This would be when he would act if they were trying to finish this quickly. But it doesn't look like that's really going to happen from my point of view. With the hunter Skolt sleeping right nearby, I think it'd be hard to pull off any of that. But if we're trying to investigate into the actions inside room 1007, it would be best to pour out all the effort into getting rid of Prince Hackenberg. If he places himself with the juridical branch proceeding and starts acting clear and proper, there's no way he's going to end up with a guilt person. Unless a matter of national danger, the military doesn't interfere with judicial matters, but with the first prince's authority and the influence depending on his inclination, it's more than possible to get the court mandate in his favour. Man, democracies are strict, and I applaud the prince and the captain for having such self-restraint to keep up with the formalities. If it were up to me, I'd be the type to pull the trigger now and think up an excuse later. Regardless, someone with that kind of personality wouldn't survive in the succession war anyway. Help me investigate the behaviour at the time of the incident. Actually, I've considered the possibility that the Queen deals with officers planning something. Their shifts are currently being adjusted. McCoy's Scott will be placed under surveillance as a person of special interest. So you had the same idea. But the 7th Prince Lazarus was opposed to the opinion. Queen does also a policy's life is in action. The standpoint is not to give help to any prince, regardless of who asks for it. It's not like someone's going to take action right in the face of danger, though. If they're pretending they were unable to use Nen this whole time, then that means that both of them must be considered to be skilled on your guard. Or you think like me, or you'd like me to think. Alright. I think all of you in Prince Genjamin's private army are behind this. If you're all in on it, an ability that Shikaku activated by taking his own life, with that kind of resolve, using a Nen that increases his strength after death would have quite a considerable amount of strength indeed. If I assumed committing suicide in front of room 1007 wasn't done in fact to mislead the investigation, and Prince Hackenberg was framed for the crime, in reality they're going after the 2nd, 3rd and 4th prince. The structure of this organization feels no remorse at using officers' lives as ammo after all, so it wouldn't be particular in the least for these to be as many as them with post-mortem Nen. The most popular kind of post-mortem Nen is the kind that haunts the target after death, causing all manners of harm and ill fortune to befall the hunted. So with those entrusted curse type abilities, is one like the Guardian Nen beast were invoked, you would be able to see it. With the prince who already have an Nen beast attached to him, be able to be hunted by another entity. Either way, for now, my only option is to observe. So there's like then like ghosts. So that's pretty crazy, man. Like a curse. It is a curse, which kind of ties into the title of this chapter. I want to hurry up and die already. Damn, with these. From the day I learned exactly where I was born, every day, without fail, I've come to see you, and that we can bound together in hell. So I swear I will curse you to death. Whoa! So this is the Nen user, so that Prince Camilla can become a queen and prosper. In ancient kingdom, there was many funerals and entombing traditions which involve people giving up their lives to be buried alongside another. In ancient Kakin, there is a special Pacific tradition in style known as the Afterlife Companion. Afterlife Companion was reserved for after a prince who was unable to become king has died, to watch over the prince in the afterlife and ensure that they would not become vengeful and haunt the king and the country. A member of the opposite sex was selected to be buried and entombed with the prince. Though it was supposed to be an honor in which the prince's companions in actually is quite the opposite. In the class system where you were born into a class and a class for the entire life, the companion forcibly chose for the lowest tier of the untouchables, chosen from that makes sense. The Afterlife Companion is now obsolete and unused, but those born as untouchables were still forever locked into that class and were never able to receive a public office, rise to a high level, or even join the military. Camilla gave all of those untouchables a chance to join a private army. They received their own private land in a special ward and granted the same status and rights as fellow soldiers. Along with the overwhelming support that those once discriminated people hold for Camilla, among her private guard there naturally began calls for the Afterlife Companion system to be reinstated. This fused with Nen users and transformed into an incredible potent assassination curse. Okay, damn, they've all got curse abilities, man. So I can see why they got the... Oh shit, bro, second Prince Camilla got a curse on everyone, man. What the heck? Carry with you some ability to your target and the name, photograph, clothing, or power your opponent, and curse your target. Stay as close as you can to the target for as long as period as you can. During this time, the greater you desire, the stronger the curse will grow. When the invoker dies, the ability will activate. Ideally, you should kill yourself in front of the target's eyes. No! Oh my god! Is this what it is? Yo, she's kind of using them as soldiers though. These are all like pawns though. Damn. It was obvious that Shikako was not an untouchable Okakian, but it's possible that it was entrusted to cursed type users like you. Prince Hakamar's tribe army was made up of people from many countries with the most unknown birthplaces. It would not have been surprising if there was a few among with those circumstances similar to our own. If a curse ever came from Prince Camilla, I'd happily give my life in order to remove it from her. That's right. Okay. So then we don't really have to become afterlife companions. I mean, we're totally ready and willing to do it. It's just we will use our lives not for the sake of the dead prince, but for the future of the Prince Camilla. We who weren't even considered people were given purpose and willed by Camilla. Those who were no longer in charge of a curse go snoop around the enemy's place and figure out if they have an exorcist or not. We have eaten the food of the dead, have gained the special Nen ability of Kakin's untouchables, carries a small blade together with something connected to your target. Pray for them to be cursed every day without fail, and then burn the object carried. Boil the ashes and drink them. Afterwards kill yourself with the blade and the curse will invoke. Or if you do, ensure that you will not cause any more trouble for Lady Camilla. Yes, those haunted by the cursed Nen will have their aura stolen. The most powerful curses will force the target into a state of Zetsu, and then bring them dead within hours. Yo, this curse is kind of OP, man. I can't lie. So with so much unknown about the prince's guardian based abilities to send a curse out after the upper rank princes would be risking it all in the gamble with very high chance of failure. But if it goes well, we should be able to kill the princess with the curse, even if it gets exercised. Let's have the ability to lure the haunted association and the exorcist out into the open. Should we go for the 10th prince or the 11th prince or maybe the 13th prince? My prince of 14 has spent a long enough time building up the curse shit. Kofu Takti on the head of prince servant, yeah. That was fast. So I want to send out a curse to one of the princes today, but I want to leave the cursed target alive for a few days to confirm whether or not the hunt station has been learned. And of Muzube, Mishishi and Tala, who do you think was the most qualified? If you're going to send the curse from this room, then all three of them would take about 3 months to kill with that, so these curses. If you were sent into their room, 10 or 2, Mozubi would take 10 days and the other would take about 2 weeks. Captain, the 10th and the 11th princes have both been detained in jurisdiction department for the attempt to escape. And according to some of our sources, there are even rumors that someone has died. If they died, then the door would be sealed, wouldn't it? If in the jurisdictional department, then it would be over half a year. So then we're left with Taya in charge of the 13th prince, taking 2 weeks. Please wait. My estimates are made assuming the prince is defenseless, but your target has been protected by a great guardian and beast who has protected the glory of the royal family for generation to generation. If you try to stealthily send the curse at them from your own territories as if they were some careless helpless commoner, you would snuff it out with an insolent attack with such a single glance. We untouchables have no mettle or determination in order to compete against such powerful guardian envious desire to protect the royal family. If you want to successfully fill the killing curse, you need the resolve to get close enough to touch the prince's skin directly, or kill yourself while the target stares at you fixedly. Why the heck didn't you say so to begin with? It's a real jerk when you want to be, Granny. Squeezing out wisdom is a strength of power with experience. I apologize for the roundabout discussion earlier, but I've got to go teach you right now. It's the job of the young to skin their knee, and the job of the old to bring the medicine before the eyes indeed. Actually carrying out this is going to be inconsiderably difficult and a lot of resolve. Or I'll do it. If I curse the 14th prince from right beside him, even the short times period include incubating it, you should unleash a powerful curse. I know that Prince Camilla hates asking for anything and asking for handouts, but wanting nothing to do with the classes. If we led to our objective with killing a prince with the curse, I'm sure she'll give me permission. The hunter in the room 114 is teaching them with the goal of causing a stalemate. If that's true, then there should be a second round of classes too. When that happens, I'll be going. Being close to the enemy's fangs can also reach you. Being too openly hostile is extremely dangerous and could wind up getting you killed. You're telling me to steel myself, right? Love and hate. I'll use my love to sound of my hate. That is my specialty. If you slip in and fall through this hill, you won't get out with the scratches. Anyway, you never run out of little reminders, do you, Granny? There's always guiding me to the right path. Don't worry, I'm awake. Indeed, I may have been playing the joking clown of a soldier for a while, but I am an untouchable, even if I feel I have nothing to lose. And thus, as of today, everyone who took the curse has had their Nen abilities awakened. We were able to carry them to their first taking steps, activities. The Nen abilities by the final day. I've been acquired it yourself. How do you feel? Physically, I feel rapidly growing stronger, and then I want to see the world because literally quite a change. So then, can you see my guardian Nen beast right now? Yes, it's far more divine and grand than I imagined. Well done. Here, take this for your reward. What is this? It's a coin created by my spirit Nen beast. You will be the first person to receive the number 1 coin. Thank you, I'm so thrilled. Though I've got the real number 1 coin. The number has increased. Oh, what? Yo, that number has increased, man. So what do we learn from this chapter? This chapter was juicy, man. There's quite a lot of beef too. So we learned that there's these untouchables who have the ability to lay curse on anyone. And like if you lay a curse, they need to kill themselves. But if they kill themselves and the stronger the curse, then they can actually kill people. That's pretty scary, you know. So like, if the prince was to look at the person while they kill themselves, that would be a really strong curse and chance of killing even like the strongest of foes. That's pretty crazy. And then the last panel, we learn about the coin. The coin has a counting system. So the dude, he had the first like number 1 coin, but when he looks at his coins, the counter has increased. So that's pretty crazy as well. Yeah, we learned that the main threat for these two princes, first Prince Benjamin and is it Sixth Prince? I want to say Sixth Prince. Yeah, those two. The main threat right now is Hackenberg, so they need to do what they can to get rid of him as well. So, man, this prince succession is taking forever, in my opinion, man. I need to see more. He suck out all the. I need more Phantom Troop, man. I need more Phantom Troop. I want to see where that manhunt leads to. Yeah, but that was it for this chapter.